What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the BuiBros Football Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Quinn Bowie, and I cheer for the LA Chargers. And across from me, my brother Brandon.
Yeah, and I cheer for the Minnesota Vikings. Excuse me. On today's episode, we're going to be looking at a Sports Illustrated article titled 100 Bold Predictions for the 2024 NFL Season. We will not be going through all 100, but Quinn has looked through and found the ones that are pertaining to the Vikings and the Chargers. And so I haven't seen them, but we will go through them, we'll look over them, and we'll see what we think.
Absolutely. And I do want to just preface this. The Vikings seem to have got a lot more coverage than the Chargers in this list. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but we'll go through that. But if you are with us today, thank you so much. We do appreciate you joining us. And remember, subscribe to the channel if you like what you're listening to. Brandon and I love talking football every day. Season's coming up soon. Brandon, we got to talk about Sunday football plans. We haven't been in the same city in quite some time, so excited to get that going. But remember to like the video, hit the notification bell so you know when videos drop. It really does help the channel out. It lets us know that you enjoy chatting with us. But let's get into it. Brandon, do the techie thing. Let's go.
Boom.
Ooh, that was nice. That was nice.
See that?
Magic dust there.
See that?
Was good.
Yeah, that was good. Okay.
So yes, Connor or Brandon, I'm going to be taking you through this. I've got this all ready to go. I know which numbers pertain to the LA Chargers and the Minnesota Vikings. So 100 bold predictions to start the 2024 season. You know, we don't get mentioned until 21. So Brandon, why don't you go down to 21 here? And this is an interesting one where this will be the season of Sam Darnold. Now, when you look at the headline, you know, you can make a lot of things out, especially as a Vikings fan. But ultimately, what this is saying, like, Sam Darnold is going to have quite a journey here. So he's going to do well enough for the Vikings to get to that trade deadline there at November 5th. But then he's going to be traded to a contender who has an injury at quarterback. It says in the AFC. You know, that worries me as a Chargers fan a little bit. Although I don't see us trading for a QB mid-season, but that's going to happen. He's going to beat the Jets, absolutely, and the New York Post will headline the page. Ghost story. Jeez. I think that would be pretty incredible, but. This is ultimately saying Sam Darnold's going to have a notable year in 2024. Yeah. Brandon, what do you think about that?
Well, okay, so just reading the title, it says, this will be the season of Sam Darnold. I think, he's going to crush it for us, which is great. And then you read this little blurb that they have, and he gets traded because he's doing so well that we're going to trade him because we have J.J. McCarthy locked and loaded. He's ready to go, supposedly by this November 5th deadline. Wow, I haven't thought about this scenario yet, to be completely honest with you. I haven't thought that we would trade Sam Darnold.
Right. And you know, they go as far to talk about like how great of a coach you guys have over there in Minnesota. And, you know, so that's going to be huge for Sam Darnold's development. Could he have a Baker Mayfield type season?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying, that he could be this year's Baker Mayfield. Which would be
or
awesome.
the previous Geno Smith,
exactly.
Some kind of resurgence.
Yeah, exactly, and I would absolutely love it. But this is actually really interesting. This would be pretty sweet to get a little bit of capital back for a guy he's on borrowed time here. Like, we only have him for one season, likely not to re-sign him. If it works out with J.J. McCarthy, we'll just have any other random lower paid backup. Nick Mullins is the guy we have now. This is actually really cool. This is a really fun one. This is very specific, so it's not, as a bold prediction should be, because they shouldn't be hit very easily. If this happens, this guy, Connor Orr, is a G. This is really cool. 100%. So, I would love this. I would love this to happen, and then I would love to finish out the season with JJ McCarthy, feeling really good. Hopefully he can. If Darnold is playing well enough, and we have the ability to trade him to a contender that has an injured starter. Hopefully that means that we can still push for the playoffs. Like maybe we're still in the race. So it's kind of an awkward thing. If he's doing well enough, why would we trade him away and possibly blow up our season to that point?
Well, yes. So that's exactly why I read this in a positive light. I don't see anything negative surrounding this bold prediction where, yes, Sam Darnold's doing well enough that you can actually receive some money back. You're trading a $10 million contract for, half the season, give or take. But that also means that you have started to build that trust in JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
Right? In JJ to Jets or 9 to Jets, right? Like I was also reading about that. It's like who's going to be JJ? Who and Justin Jefferson coming out?
He said
he's going to be Jets.
Yeah, he said I've been JJ long enough. I don't need it anymore. It's all yours.
Yeah.
It'll take a little bit of time to get used to calling him Jets. I think it'll kind of be like Darius Slay. In all his interviews the past few years, every time someone calls him Darius, he goes, just Slay. It's Slay. Call me Slay. And eventually that'll and people now just call him Slay. And so I think that's what's going to happen with Justin. They'll just call him Jets or J Jettas or whatever,
Right.
But we'll kind of step off the JJ and leave that for JJ McCarthy, which I think it's a kind of cool thing for him to do. He's going to be a captain of this team this year. He's a veteran now. Well, he's almost a veteran, coming off like he's still on the last
I'd say
year of the
he
deal,
is a veteran now.
No, for sure. But I mean, like technically speaking, right? Like he's still on his rookie contract. Yeah, he's coming into his own as a leader of this team, and he wants to be like he spoke in his press conference about signing the big deal that I'm the highest paid. I have to act like I'm the highest paid. I have to act like the leader of this team. So. So that's kind of cool, but yeah, getting back to this bold prediction, I love it. I think this is very unique, very cool, and it would be very fun to see. It would kind of suck that there's a lot of questions. If Darnold's crushing it, it would suck to see him go, but if we get something in return, that would be fun. And then JJ can start his career a little early. That'll be good.
100%. And like we mentioned, if Sam Darnold's doing well enough and the Vikings organization feels comfortable to ship him off somewhere, JJ McCarthy is doing well in practice and ready to go with JJ to Jets.
Yeah.
But let's continue that conversation with Justin Jefferson. And if you want to get down to number 24, now this is a little bit of an indirect connection there. While this is saying 3 receivers will top 1,800 yards this year. And that would be insane. In the new age, offense first, firepower, pass-heavy offense. Incredible. But then you look at who they're actually mentioning here. They say Puka Nacua. First and foremost, they write Puka Nacua there, which is interesting.
Yeah.
An interesting choice from a journalist perspective. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyreek Hill will approach or slightly best Jets. Excuse me. Look, already having that difficulty. Career high from 2022 of 1,809. Now, whoa. So Puka Nacua obviously burst into the scene last year. Let's go through these one at a time. And he was absolutely a stunner. I believe 5th round draft pick in an era where the Rams had already given all their draft picks away. Last year was one of the last big discrepancies when it came to draft picks because all of the Matt Stafford deals and such finally caught up and they're back to it. But Puka Nacua as a late round draft pick surprised a lot of people. Now in year 2, getting up to 1,800 yards with Cooper Kupp. Now, is this a scenario where Cooper Kupp maybe isn't as available as the LA Rams would like? How do you see Puka Nacua getting to 1,800 yards?
I don't see it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
1,800 is a lot. That's a lot. I don't see Puka getting there. I think he was, a very good rookie wide receiver, but he's a product of a great system that Sean McVay has. He's he's schemed open, you know? They scheme these plays for him, and every team does something, but Sean McVay is a genius at this kind of stuff. So I don't see Puka getting 1,800, especially Cup. Like you said, Cup is still there, and Cup should be healthy this year. I'm not even convinced that Puka Nacua is wide receiver 1. Honestly,
Right.
I haven't been convinced of that. Last year, yes, he did amazing, but Cup was hurt, you know, and yes,
Several times.
yeah, and Cup like came back and was good and was playing, but he was still, you know, I don't know. So I'm not sure. I don't know about that one. Amon-Ra St. Brown, that guy's a dog, you know. I could.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also the argument there. Now, no, just before we get to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua, I'm with you in that he may not have got that WR1 spot yet. Cooper Kupp is still getting paid a lot of money,
Yeah.
and on top of that, the Rams also like to run the football. Sean McVay knows that in order to be successful in the past, you got to have a solid run game. And when you have Kyren Williams coming out of the backfield, just came out, said he loves that Blake Corum, rookie out of Michigan, was drafted by the Rams in the 3rd round there. Like he wants that competition there, and he still has the expectation and the want to be the fantasy football RB1, Kyren Williams. So that means like they're going to be running the football a lot. If Kyren Williams has any shot at being even close to the RB1 in fantasy football, plus Blake Corum coming in, who was an absolute dog, ground and pound, resilient runner over there in Michigan, helping them get to the national championship. But then how are you going to support Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So I'm with you. I'm going to with you there. We're 0 for 1 in this bold prediction, but then to go to your boy there, in a sense, excuse me, just out of respect, but for Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, this has a similar argument in my mind where there's a lot of mouths to feed. One being our tight end 1 in fantasy, potentially in Sam Laporta, who's fantastic, and also that JMO, Jameson Williams, who I still have a little bit of a bone to pick with you and the Minnesota Vikings for trading interdivisional.
Yeah.
And then you got Lewis Seen out of that, and how is that all? That's for another day.
That's for another day. But there's been lots of talk about that recently. But that's for another day.
Yes, and plus the fact that the Lions are a run-heavy team. They built that offensive line to be a brick wall, to open up huge lanes for Jahmyr Gibbs taking over a bigger role, and then you got a little bit of a bruiser there in
David Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're studs there running the ball, and that's kind of like the Dan Campbell way, right? He's kind of anything and everything. He just whatever it takes, but at the same time, he's really that like grind and physical football coach. So, yeah, yes. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's got the talent to do it, I think. He's clearly the number 1 target there. But 1,800 is a lot of yards. 1,800 is a lot of yards. The only guy here, which is the 3rd, if you're ready to move on.
I'm ready,
that I think I would say, well, yeah, totally, he could do this, is Tyreek. That guy is unreal. But it says here that this is, of course, contingent on Hill signing a new or reworked deal with the Miami Dolphins and getting into camp on time, which I didn't actually know that they were struggling with this. He's getting paid 30 mil.
Well, so it's a fake 30 mil.
Right.
That's where things differ, is because when all these contracts started coming out this season, all the extensions, they were actually getting 30 mil in new money, where Tyreek's deal, it was heavily weighted towards the back half, where he's making like 45 mil, something around there anyway, in one of the final years of his deal, which the Dolphins are not going to pay him.
Right, it's all non-guaranteed.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, they have been talking about this quite a bit. I think they do pay him right now. They've got the Tua situation going on, which is another, like after that Trevor Lawrence deal, holy, what's Miami gonna do? Is Tua $50 million a year quarterback? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, yes, he's got all the talent in the world, but I've got to play devil's advocate here, and I've got to, like, it's another year older, and I just don't know if he can continue to do it, especially now they paid Jalen Waddle. They're going to have to get him involved. Devon Achane is going to be taking over there. Raheem Mostert, long in the tooth now. But there's a lot of mouths to feed in that Miami offense. And on top of that, just another year older, another year in that Miami system where the league now knows it's Tyreek Hill is getting it all. Right? Tyreek Hill is getting it all.
It feels like to me like all the mouths to feed kind of help Tyreek because he's that speed guy
Yeah.
that he surprises you. You can't just put one guy on him and kind of, we'll just cover him because he'll just blow right by your guy and then it's over. So, whereas like with Amon-Ra St. Brown, you could put a lockdown guy, Puka Nacua lockdown. You could do that kind of stuff with them. And if there's other mouths to feed, the rest of the defense can shift over there. Whereas Tyreek, if there's other mouths to feed and they're getting the ball, then the defense has to shift and not double cover Tyreek or something like that, and he's going to blow by, and then he's got that 75-yard play, which is a large chunk in the 1,800 yards. So, yeah, I don't know. That's like 3 receivers topping 18
yards
is a bold prediction. So that is very bold of this guy to do that. But for me, well, I like it. I like the bold prediction. I'm not so sure that I would buy into it, but that's what a bold prediction is, right? It's likely 100%. Not going to happen, but I think so,
Yeah, so. And Brandon, I'm in agreement with you. I think if we look at these 3, it's probably Tyreek Hill that's going to do it.
Oh yeah.
Especially with his prediction last year of him getting 2,000 yards, and if he didn't have an injury, who knows? Maybe there was that opportunity. But let's move on to the emergence of the LA Chargers in this bold predictions, top 100 bold predictions of 2024. Let's go to 27, not too far away. And we believe in Jim. We believe in Jim Harbaugh. We trust in Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh wins Coach of the Year. Now here saying he's slightly edging out Brian Daboll, which is interesting because we now have that connection in the draft where the Chargers were looking at Malik Neighbors at 5 and the Giants there at 6. Who knows what's going to happen? We ended up going with offensive line, Joe Alt, and they got Malik Neighbors there. So there's going to be that storyline that plays out, which is quite interesting. But ultimately, Harbaugh is changing this team. He has already, but he's going to further instill that bruiser mentality, that culture, that hard-hitting, mean football. And he's going to bring the Chargers to the playoffs. Now, if we go back, and if you haven't looked at it or watched it yet, make sure to check out the video. Brandon and I went to a preseason record prediction for both the Minnesota Vikings and the LA Chargers. So I said the Vikings ended up 12-5, which is crazy. I understand, but looking at the schedule, understanding the coach, understanding the quarterback, I think there's a lot of reasons to go there. Go check it out. But bringing them to the playoffs, 12-5 does that, and so I would be ecstatic. The NFL loves these storylines. Jim Harbaugh coming back to the NFL after winning national championship with the Michigan Wolverines. This plays out to me. This absolutely feels like if there are good odds to take there, that's something that I would consider in terms. And I am not a licensed anything or whatever kind of caution I need to provide. Anyway, Jim Harbaugh, Coach of the Year. What do you think?
So, I think something he already has going for him is the hype. If he is an above-average coach, he's the favorite, just simply because of the hype. So I think that this one, I bet you if we looked at the odds, He's one of the favorites. So this isn't too big of a bold prediction in my mind, right? Like he's
I guess
got to
it's
be up
bold in
there.
the sense that it's 1 out of 32.
It's 1 out of 32. Yes, like you are predicting a 1 out of 32 award. And so that is it's pretty specific, but he's got to be, this is me. I haven't looked at any odds. I don't know. But it feels like to me, in the world that I live in, that Jim Harbaugh has got to be one of the favorites already, just because of how much hype has been placed on that hiring. So, yeah, I could see it. If unless the Vikings crush it with a basically backup quarterback, and Kevin O'Connell comes in as a front runner. I thought actually Kevin O'Connell should have won it when Brian Daboll won it. They were both rookie head coaches, and we went like, I think we went like 13-4 or something. What did we? No, we didn't go that bad.
Yeah,
I don't remember what we did.
Yeah,
is that what we went?
Yeah, it was very.
We had an unreal. He had an unreal rookie
because
season.
you had all of those one-score wins.
Yeah, it was crazy. But anyways, that's beside the point. But, yeah, I would. I don't know about slightly edging out Brian Daboll's work. I don't know if I would say that he's a front runner to be a coach of the year again, but Jim Harbaugh, yeah, I could see this happening, definitely.
13-4 in 2022.
Sick. So sick.
Holy moly, that's incredible.
What a sweet
here we
season
are.
that was. And then we got blown out not blown out, and then we lost to actually Brian Daboll's Giants. So there you go.
Fitting. They say it's a regular season award, but at that moment, it was still in contention, and who was going to win that?
Exactly.
Yes. So here we are. We're done 3 here, and I'm with you, Jim Harbaugh doing the winning Coach of the Year. Bold in the sense in the odds, 1 out of 32, but when you actually look at the teams out there, you can immediately throw out some of the candidates.
Well, it's just like,
with all due respect,
it's always the storyline type things, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, Andy Reid should win this thing every freaking year, right?
100%.
He should just be winning it every year, and Bill Belichick should have won it every year. But It's always there's a storyline aspect to it, and he has already started with a great storyline. So, yeah, I think that he's got a great shot at it.
I love it. So 3 bold predictions down, and we are 2-1 in agreement. So let's move on here. In terms of odds, let's go down to 46, a little bit of a jump into the next portion, but then we get back into the Vikings, which the Vikings, Arizona Cardinals, and the aforementioned Brian Daboll's New York Giants all have the over-under of 6.5. And he's saying all 3 of them are going to hit over on the projected DraftKings win totals. Now, Brandon, of course, the Vikings, your team, you already predicted them 8-9 as of the preseason right now. But then you've got your boy Kyler Murray over there in Arizona with Marvin Harrison Jr. and that offense and second-year head coach coming, hopefully everything coming together. And then Brian Daboll's New York Giants with Malik Neighbors. Who knows? Is it going to be Drew Lock? Is it going to be Daniel Jones as QB at some point? We don't know. But all of them at 6.5. Vikings, right there. He talks about Sam Darnold and the soft pockets of the schedule. This is where they actually mention that Kevin O'Connell is a great coach and the offense can move mountains. That's got to be something pretty exciting to listen to as a fan. But the Cardinals have a great back half of the schedule, and then the Giants rebuilt pass rush, and they get 2 cracks at the rookie Jaden Daniels with the Washington Commanders there. And
as well as the AFC South.
NFC South.
Or NFC South, sorry.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. You know what? Well, I definitely like Vikings over 6.5. I definitely like Cardinals over 6.5. Giants, I haven't paid too much attention to. I'd have to look, but the NFC South sucks. So there you go. And then, like they said, you get to play Washington twice, so that's good. But they also have to play the Eagles twice and the Cowboys twice. And I got to see the rest of the schedule. Well, I think they play us as well. I'm not sure if they play our whole division, but I think they do play. We play the Vikings play the Giants as well. So Um, yeah, it says easily hit the over. When I first saw the 6.5 spread or the 6.5 projection, I thought, what the hell is this? We're
How
not
is this bold,
we're
right?
not we're not winning only 6 games this year. That's ridiculous. Like we're not that bad. Um that being said, these things are always really accurate somehow. Like these people know.
And you're like,
But
damn it.
this year they don't know about the Vikings. So this one I can agree with this bold prediction as well. A bit of a homer pick, but you also know how I feel about the Cardinals and about Kyler Murray.
Yep. Yeah.
And the Giants. I don't know. I'm not high on the Giants particularly, but I'd have to look at their schedule and kind of take a look at their team again. But yeah, I'm not overly high on them. Um, but yeah, Vikings and
Right.
Cardinals for sure.
Right. Yeah, that word easily there, and to get all three of them, that obviously that parlay is it just adds all that much more difficulty to the bets. But Vikings, I agree with you. Over 6.5, you're not worse than that. Something has to go extremely wrong. JJ being there helps for several wins on his own. The Arizona Cardinals being a last place team, they had to figure out their whole uh, their whole new system ultimately last year with an injured Kyler Murray. And then the New York Giants, year three, and Brian Daboll. I think this is going to be huge for Brian Daboll this year to see if he is actually the coach of their future. Unfortunately, he's been plagued with bad quarterback play, injury to the quarterback position, and they go ahead and trade for Drew Lock. It's not necessarily the most inspiring of trades. 6.5 seems reasonable, so I'm gonna buy this one as well. I'm gonna buy this one as well. That all three of them are going to get 7 wins or above. Pretty exciting stuff. But let's continue on here. This is the last one that has any mention of us. And it goes back to the Minnesota Vikings, and we're going all the way down to number 95.
95. Wait, so there was only one Chargers prediction.
There's one specific direct mention to the Chargers, yes. There are a couple other that have indirect connections, but not in the same sense that I wanted to bring up today. 95, Aaron Jones will catch more than 35 passes for the Vikings. Former Packers running back will excel in the Kevin O'Connell offense, serving as a true safety valve for both Sam Darnold and the guy who's taken over after the trade deadline, J.J. McCarthy. 35 passes, I think that is absolutely reasonable. If Aaron Jones stays healthy, with only Ty Chandler really nipping at his heels in terms of pecking order, 35 passes, safety valve, all those checkdowns, 100%. Sam Darnold and a rookie quarterback. I almost want to go as far to say that this isn't even bold.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm wondering what his like average season receptions is, because 35 doesn't seem, it's like for a check down. Just we're gonna check down a lot. That just happens. Every team checks down a lot. So these at 35 doesn't seem that high.
I guess with age and his injury history, that there is going to be some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see here. I am going to pull this up where we're actually going to see his stats and kind of see what's going on here. So receptions. Now,
last year he didn't play too much.
He didn't play too much, and he had 30 receptions. The year before, he had 59 receptions, 52, 47, 49, 26, and his rookie season in 2017, he had 9 receptions.
Okay, so he 9, then 26, and then beat this bold prediction the rest of the time.
Beat it. except for last year, which he was
But
injured.
he was
30.
injured and still
He
got
was very
30.
close.
So this seems like a no-brainer.
Right. If there was an over-under on that too,
I'm betting the
extremely
over.
tempted. Yeah,
100%.
35 passes with Sam Darnold and rookie QB.
Huh.
Pretty wild.
That is really wild. Yeah, this is an easy one. This is a slam dunk. This doesn't
You're
belong
buying
on
it.
this list. This guy he had some good ones up top, and then he started just saying any predictions. This is not bold at all. Aaron Jones is definitely catching more than 35 passes.
All right, so we're buying that as well.
100%.
And that is 5 bold predictions brought to you by Sports Illustrated and Connor Orr there of what pertains to the LA Chargers and the Minnesota Vikings this year. Like I said, heavily favored the Vikings in terms of coverage. And a lot of them seem pretty believable and I think would make for a pretty interesting season here in 2024. But what do you all think? What do you think? Did Sports Illustrated get it right? What do you think about these bold predictions? We think they're all coming true. We always want them to come true. It makes for a very exciting Sunday. But thank you so much for being here with us. If you like what you're listening to, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It lets us know you enjoy talking football with us each and every week. Make sure to like the video, hit the notification bell, helps the channel out, and leave us a comment. Usually Brandon says that, so I'm not going to take any more of his thunder. Brandon, send us off.
Yes, I won't tell you to leave a comment because Quinn already did that. I think I have nothing else to add. So until next week, everybody, Skol Bolts.
Cool.
Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I forgot. Skol Bolts. There you go.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay. See ya.